Merry meet, this is Reiki Master and High Priest Ogonslav from the Covenant of the Open Mind. Hail and welcome. So this is the first official video lecture of the Reiki series, and by the end of this series you'll be ready to be attuned to the master and teacher level of Reiki if you so desire to. But in this video specifically, I'll just be going over the history of Reiki and giving a brief overview of the three main contributors to Reiki as we know today. So with that being said, let's get started. So Dr. Mikao Usui is usually coined as the founder of modern Reiki as we know today. However, many scholars and historians believe that Reiki dates back many centuries, hundreds of centuries. Dr. Usui was born on August 15th, 1865 into a family who has been practicing Zen Buddhism for at least 11 generations, I believe. At a very early age, he attended a Tendai Buddhist school near Mount Karama. He studied many different things while attending, including medical science, divination, religion, history, and psychology. During his life, he traveled to Europe, America, and China, and growing up and during his adulthood, he had this really strong fascination with Western culture. No one really sure why, but he did. But on March 1922, he enrolled in a 21-day training course sponsored by the Tendai Buddhist School. There, he fasted, meditated, and spoke a variety of chants and prayers. So, on Mount Karama, there's this waterfall there that you can actually stand under and meditate, and it said that while standing under it, it's believed to activate your crown chakra. So that's exactly what Usui did. And during his meditation underneath this waterfall, that's how he discovered Reiki through a vision. And that's how he discovered all the symbols, all the hand positions, and just the concept of Reiki as we know today was during this meditation. So after discovering this, he wanted to share his knowledge with everybody he met. So he moved to Tokyo in 1922 and opened up his own Reiki school to the public. And as far as I believe, this is the first Reiki school that was open to the public, which is one of the main reasons why many people coin him as the founder of Reiki. So Usui traveled to many places around Japan and China and pretty much just taught everybody who was willing to listen to him. On March 9th, 1926, Usui did pass away from a stroke. However, during his time, it is believed that he taught around 2,000 people and initiated 20 people to the Reiki master level, which is amazing. Usui created Reiki with the intention of having no dogma or religious belief attached to it, making Reiki universal to anybody, regardless of your background or spiritual or religious path, which is one of the reasons why I was drawn to Reiki so strongly, and I think it's amazing that literally anybody can practice Reiki at any time. So the second person I want to go over is Chujiro Hayashi. Hayashi was a physician and a retired Marine commander, and he was a longtime friend of Usui. Before Usui died, he asked Hayashi to open up a Reiki clinic and to develop and expand Reiki as Usui learned it. So after Usui died, Hayashi created many manuals and texts about Reiki and kept careful records of all that Usui was shown during his meditation on the mountain. Hayashi was the first person who also taught students how to do group Reiki sessions where multiple practitioners would work on one client. In 1937, Hayashi traveled to Hawaii prior to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and was actually asked by the Japanese military to discover locations of warehouses and other military targets on Honolulu since he was a retired Marine commander. However, he refused to do this, and so what did the Japanese government do to him? They labeled him as a traitor to Japan. So in response to this, he actually committed ritual suicide, not only because of what they asked him to do and what they labeled him as, but also because of the disgrace his family faced because of his decision. So he passed away here. He committed ritual suicide on May 11th, 1940. And finally, the third person I want to go over is Madame Takata. Madame Takata brought Reiki from the West in 1930. Madame Takata brought Reiki to the West in 1937 and continued to practice and teach until she passed away in 1980. Madame Takata was born on December 24th, 1900, and was born on the island of Kauai, Hawaii. Her parents were also Japanese immigrants too. So in 1930, she developed severe abdominal pains and a lung condition, causing her to actually have to return to Japan for surgery. It was later learned before surgery that she developed a tumor, as well as gallstones, appendicitis, and asthma. So she was in pretty bad shape at this point. But instead of receiving surgery, she actually traveled to Hayashi's Reiki clinic that he had opened up, and she was super surprised that the Reiki practitioners were actually able to diagnose her with pretty much the same things as the surgeons did. So because of this, she soon began receiving Reiki treatments instead of having surgery. And as they were starting to become more and more successful for her, she decided that she wanted to continue to use Reiki and learn how to use Reiki on herself, as well as take it back to Hawaii to share with others in the Western world, which ultimately was Usui's goal, was to share Reiki to the Western world, because he had that strong fascination with Western culture. So Hayashi did allow her to do this, and she eventually traveled back to Hawaii and moved her way into the mainland, traveling all throughout America, teaching anybody who was willing to listen. And she's taught many, many people to level 2 Reiki. Some believe into the thousands of people, just like Usui did, which was really, really amazing. However, she had a very different sense of how to teach Reiki. She didn't believe that Reiki should be written down anywhere. The teaching of Reiki, rather, shouldn't be written down anywhere. So her students, she wouldn't allow any of her students to take notes or anything. They had to just memorize everything from verbal teachings. And she thought it was a disgrace to actually learn Reiki from taking notes and reading them. But obviously that didn't really stick very well, because there's just so much about Reiki that'd be so hard to learn Reiki without taking notes or anything. But yeah, so that is the 3 main contributors to Reiki, Usui, Hayashi, and Takata. And I just felt it was really important to really know the history of Reiki before learning the techniques of Reiki itself, which is what my next video is going to be. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this brief history overview of the Reiki and 3 main contributors to Reiki, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and from everybody from the Covenant of the Open Mind, blessed be.